Hey guys, Christina here, Porky Pastures, and thank you for being in Natural Homesteaders of Southern Maryland. I have been getting a ton of questions about our holistic approach to caring for our animals and preventing disease. So there are several things that we do, and let me see. So there's several things that we do, and a lot of it comes down to prevention. A holistic approach means from from the bottom up. So you're not necessarily treating symptoms. You're preventing the disease by creating a healthy body to fight off anything that comes around. So one thing we do is just avoid contamination. So we're really careful with biosecurity practices. But we use a lot of herbs. We use, healthy field management. So a lot of rotation. Right now things are really muddy, so it's kind of hard to avoid the mud, but keeping animals out of the mud as much as possible really helps. When there's a lot of moisture, you have more respiratory issues, more parasites and that sort of thing. So good pasture rotation and management will really make a big difference when you are treating holistically, which means basically naturally preventing disease. You do also treat disease holistically using pretty much the same herbs that you use for prevention most of the time. So that's what we're going to talk about. This is something that I do, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to make it right here because I'm going to be giving it to all of the animals tomorrow. So this is what I get asked about the most. What goes in my brew? I call it my brew. I give this to every animal on the farm. This goes in chicken water. This goes in cow food and sometimes in water too. This goes definitely in the pig food. The sheep get it. Everybody gets it. How we give it to each animal can vary a little bit just based on how they'll tolerate it. Pigs are easy because they just eat it right up. But I'll go through that at the end. But I'm going to start with what goes in it and how I use it and how much. So I'll start with the ingredients, and then I'll just kind of make it. This is a 1/2 gallon mason jar. My measurements are not at all exact. They are just kind of eyeballing it. Some of the things have pretty specific instructions on how to use it. Like these are herbs, and I'll go through them in a minute, but the herbs that I use, they are specially formulated for animals, but people eat them too. They're sold for animals, but we've eaten them, and we actually put them in our own fire cider that we make and take every single day just to help keep our immune system strong. But I just eyeball it. We have too many animals for it to really be realistic to follow the instructions on let me see here. To follow the instructions on the package, because it's per animal and by weight, and that just wasn't realistic. So, the nice thing about herbs is that it doesn't have to be exact. You just want to make sure everybody's getting it and they're getting enough. But if it's a little too much or not quite enough, it's totally fine. So before I get started with going through my ingredients, I just wanted to say that if you have any questions, please put it into the comments, and I will get to them either as you ask them, or if I'm in the middle of something, I'll answer them as soon as I finish kind of that section. And then at the end, if anybody has any questions, you can ask anything that's homestead related. And I'm just kind of getting it up because I'm going to get it up on my phone just in case, because I'm not sure I'm seeing. I'm not sure that I'm seeing comments on this app that I'm streaming with. So I'm just going to real quick pop up this to see. So definitely, if you have a comment, please drop it in. If you have a comment or a question, and I will get it. So again, at the end, if you have any questions about anything homestead related, livestock, gardening, preserving, whatever, let me know. Okay, half-gallon jar is what I use. If you don't have as many animals, you can use a smaller jar and just kind of reduce your proportions accordingly, or your ratios accordingly. I would just go ahead and make this because it is vinegar based, so it's going to last you a while, and the herbs actually get more potent the longer that they sit. So I have been mixing up a batch of this as needed, but I was actually thinking, like, we do our fire cider in a very similar way, and we let that sit for 30 days before we use it, just because it lets all those things absorb and release all the good stuff in the herbs into the liquid. Now, when I give this to the animals, they're getting like the herbs in it. But I was kind of thinking, like, if we brew our fire cider, maybe, like, let it sit for 30 days before we start using it, and then it stays good for, as long as you can keep taking it. It doesn't really go bad. Then maybe I might try that with this and see if it, becomes more potent or works better if we notice any difference. So again, I'm going to be giving this to them tomorrow, but I'm going to try in the future to maybe make a few bottles ahead of time and kind of see how that goes. So I give this to what we're going to make. I give it to the animals kind of as a preventative, just to keep their immune system up, especially when the weather is bad. If there's drastic changes in temperature or a lot of rain or cold or extreme heat, really, we do it all the time, but we might double up, triple up if there's an extreme weather situation. I also give it the same plus a little bit if somebody is looking sick. If somebody's not feeling good, I'll show you a few things that I might add to it depending on what's going on with them. So, okay, we've got the half-gallon jar. I start with vinegar. So this apple cider vinegar, I made this in the fall, but this is homemade. But Azure Standard makes a great organic vinegar, apple cider vinegar. You want to make sure it's organic, or at least I like to make sure it's organic. Homemade is wonderful, but like I said, it doesn't have to be. Azure Standard makes a really good one. And I noticed it's like half the price. So I had used previously, as I called, Bragg's apple cider vinegar. The Azure Standard one is about half the price. So I'm going to switch to that actually for everything that we do when I don't have the homemade. So we start with the homemade, and I'm guessing that I put about 2 cups, maybe a little bit less. We'll see. You tell me if you think this is 2 cups. Okay. So is that 2 cups? Somebody comment and let me know. It's about 2 cups. I'm going to guess. We'll go with that. Okay. And then I use molasses. This is really good for boosting the immune system and giving energy. It does a lot of good things. I like it because it kind of knocks the edge off of some of the more potent herbs and oils that I put into this. And so I think it makes the animals a little bit more likely to eat it. So this one is from Azure Market, Azure Standard, and it's just a really good organic molasses. This one is blackstrap. I don't really know if that matters, if it's blackstrap or not. But it's the one that I use, and it seems to work well. So I would say maybe a cup-ish of that. And we won't fill this with the actual ingredients. I will top it off with water, and that just kind of makes it easier to mix into feed. Okay, so again, that was Azure Market organic molasses. You can use any molasses, preferably organic. Okay, so next is the herb mix. Spoon, super specific measurement. Okay, so I have 4 bags of herb mix. I haven't been using them terribly long. I used to just do kind of like the vinegar and oils and stuff. But these got recommended to me, and I have really liked them. I feel like our animals are, I mean, they've always been healthy, but, you know, the coats are a little bit shinier. They're all healthy. They have a lot of energy. The number one thing is these help with parasites, prevent parasites. It can treat parasites too. If you're treating parasites and you notice like a really heavy load of parasites, you'll want to treat with this every day for a week to knock it out. But as a preventative, we just do it every couple weeks like this. I will say, like, we've never had a big parasite problem. Very few situations where we've had them, and mostly it's when we're bringing in new animals and during the quarantine period, because we always quarantine our animals for 30 to 60 days, no matter where they come from. They can come from the best farm in the country. They get quarantined for 30 to 60 days, depending on the animal and where they came from. So the only times we've really noticed parasites are new animals that are from other farms and during the quarantine period. We had this year, because we didn't really have a winter there, everybody has been telling me that they've had like hog lice or cow lice for the first time. We have had it for the first time. But the interesting thing was I've been putting this in the cow food, which we don't grain them, but we give them a little bit of alfalfa just to keep them trained and coming to the fence. And there's one cow that always gets bullied away from it, and she never gets it. And so while all the farms around us are having lice on their cattle, the only one of ours that got it was the one cow that gets bullied away from the trough when they're eating the alfalfa pellets that I've soaked in this. So the only cow that got the lice was the one that didn't get this. So I think that that's kind of a testament to the fact that it must be working. So there's 4 bags. 2 come from one company and 2 come from another. Let me see. The first company is called Land of Havilah Herbals. Hold that up. Land of Havilah Herbals. This is the first bag. It's called Regular Parasite Formula. And it has amazing things. It's like black walnut, cayenne, cinnamon, cloves. This stuff smells so good. We were talking about maybe doing like a pork rub with it. It smells so good. So it's all natural, like wormwood, yarrow, black walnut, cayenne, garlic, ginger, all the good stuff. This is from the same company, Land of Havilah, and it's an herbamint. It's called Herbamin's powder. So this is just giving a whole bunch of extra vitamins and nutrients to just kind of pack them full of good stuff. Rose hips, hawthorn, nettle, barley, barberry, dandelion, beetroot, kelp, milk thistle, cayenne, all kinds of wonderful stuff. So those 2 are from Land of Havilah. Okay. The other company is called Fir Meadow, and this mix is called DWA. I'm not really sure what that stands for. DWA, I don't know. But it says it's for foreign matter elimination. So this is for parasites. It's to detox. So again, that's DWA by Fir Meadow. And then the other one is by Fir Meadow, and it's called GI Smoother. And it says it's a digestive system support. So 2 of these bags are geared towards like parasites and detox. One is mostly for like it's just jam-packed with vitamins and nutrients. And then one is for digestive support. And I mean, it's got cinnamon, ginger, turmeric, slippery elm bark, clove bud, mullein, cayenne, just a ton of amazing things. So what I do for this half gallon, so it has instructions for like per pound. And like I said, I can't do that for each animal on the farm. We have too many animals to do that. You can kind of see, it looks like it's like any old herb. And they all smell so good. So I just take a heaping spoon. This is a pretty big spoon. I'd say it's a tablespoon, but it's like heaping. So it's definitely more than a tablespoon. And I just plop each one in there. That was the GI Smoother. Now this one is the Parasite formula. And this is a big heaping spoon there. I'm going to just do that for each one. This is the one that's called DWA. And if you go on their website, let's see, here's a nice big heaping spoon. I don't always do that much, but sometimes I'll kind of do a little bit less of a spoon, still a spoon, but maybe not quite as heaping. But with all this weather, I want them to have all the good stuff. Like this weather is wonderful for saturating the ground. Things are getting really dry, but the mud does bring up the parasites and respiratory stuff. So, okay, the Herbamin powder, I'm going to do a spoon. So what I was going to say is if you go on the website, they kind of seem expensive. I want to say the 4 of these, I don't know. I can't remember how much they are, but it was probably a little over $100 for all 4 bags. And that sounds like a lot, but we have close to 100 pigs. We have about, right now, probably 20 to 25 cows. We have, including the babies, about 15 sheep and maybe 8 goats. So 100, like there's a lot of animals. And this has lasted me months and I'm not even halfway through. So it sounds like a lot, but it will last you. You know, you don't want to keep it forever because herbs do lose their potency over time. But like if you buy it or share it with somebody, like go in with somebody else and split it all so that you use it before it kind of like loses its potency, it'll last you like a long, long time. This is going to last us probably a year with that many animals. So if you go in with a friend and buy some, it won't be that expensive and it's well worth it. I mean, you're cutting down your vet bill, you're cutting down your like modern medicine bill, you're getting healthier animals. And so you're going to save a lot more money in the long run by preventing disease and parasites with this. So I highly recommend it. So we've added all of the basic stuff. What I will do now is mix this and I just give it a shake. I put the lid on and then just give it a shake. And that molasses likes to sit on the bottom. So you just want to like shake it really well. And so a couple of things, if we have, and I'm going to actually go ahead and put these in we don't have any sick animals right now. But again, with this weather, I feel like giving them a little extra boost is going to be worth it in the long run. So usually I would only put these extra things in there if somebody wasn't feeling good or if there's, you know, kind of like extreme weather like we've had, raining for 3 days and everything is like a foot deep of mud. Okay, and these are probably things that you've taken before yourself, and these are not for pets, like they're for animals, like these are ours that we use personally. So I use this Super Echinacea, and why I like that one is it has, now we make this ourselves too, but we use a lot of it, so we buy it. But Super Echinacea, I like the Super because it uses all of the different parts in the Echinacea plant. So it's way more potent. So again, Super Echinacea, this is great for like respiratory, throat, colds. It just boosts your immune system. So I'm just going to put like, that's about it. If I had somebody sick, I might do a little bit more, but we don't. This one is a respiratory supplement. It's from a company called Homegrown Herbalist. It's Doc Jones, I think, and he's actually a vet. He's a naturopathic vet, but he does these supplements, and they're for people or animals. And so this one's, again, it's called Homegrown Herbalist. It's the respiratory asthma formulation. So it just kind of opens up your airways, kind of keeps things clear. It has brigham tea, mullein leaf, and lobelia. So those are all things that we use when we're sick or suspect a respiratory thing coming on, mullein and lobelia. See, I feel like they're missing another one, but no. So that's the respiratory asthma mix that they have. And I just put a little splash. They're pretty concentrated. So a little goes a long way. So 2 things, these 2 are great for the immune system. They are also fantastic antibiotics, natural antibiotics. So you don't have to worry about building up like a resistance to antibiotics like you do with chemical antibiotics. These will work forever. You don't build up that resistance that I know of. And they're actually, I think, more potent than medical antibiotics. So if there's an infection, an illness, respiratory, whatever. So we castrated an older boar not too long ago. And this is what we were giving him. This with tons of extra oregano and garlic, and made sure we kept it clean. We also sprayed his wound with a lot of colloidal silver. And actually, I've put that in here as well. I'm not doing that today, but I've put colloidal silver in this. But we kept it clean with that. Gave him this supplement with a lot of garlic and oregano, and he bounced back super fast. And it actually got to be a decent infection. It kind of ripped open, and he got junk in it, and it was kind of gross. But this did the trick. So garlic and oregano are fantastic. And I put that much. Super, super scientific. Okay, oregano, this one is strong. So you want to make sure that you're mixing this bottle really well before you pour every single time to make sure everything's mixed. Oregano oil doesn't mix well. So you have to shake, 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 pour a little bit. Shake, 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 pour for the next dose. And it will burn your lips. So you do want to make sure, you don't want to go crazy with it, and you want to make sure it's mixed well. So less oregano than I did garlic. That much. I'd say it's probably like a teaspoon for this big of a size. If you were taking it yourself, it would be like 2 drops. Okay, so I'm going to mix that again. You have to mix it a little bit more just because that molasses really gets stuck to the bottom. And so all those herbs are in there. So that's pretty concentrated, and it would be hard to just do like a tablespoon or whatever in each bowl. So I fill it up the rest of the way with water. Just makes it a little bit easier to spread and mix. If you're giving it right away, I've also mixed, if we have whey or buttermilk after making cheese or butter, you could mix that in there instead of water too, and that gives even more of a boost. So that is just mixed up. It looks terrible. That color is just because of the molasses. And that's it. So, again, this would be enough to treat all of our animals. Almost. I might actually, if we were doing, so this would treat all the pigs, and we have almost 100 pigs. So the adults would get a little bit more, and then we would just kind of so I we'll take the fermented food in the bucket, and then I'll pour a little bit of this in. I'll let it soak for a minute, and then I'll feed it to them. So the little feeders, they get a lot less. It doesn't take a whole lot. I would say per small pig, you're probably giving like a couple of tablespoons per, and that's every few weeks of this mix. And so I don't know if you can see, but the herbs kind of like some come to the top, some fall to the bottom. So you want to make sure that you are mixing like between every pour. And, when you kind of get in the habit of it, you kind of keep everything together and you can mix it really quick. And like I said, I'm going to play with mixing a few of these at a time and letting them sit, maybe even in a windowsill like we do for our fire cider, just because I feel like it would probably become more potent and we might need to use less. Less might go further. So I'll go through the different animals and how we give it to them. The sheep are hard because we don't really give them anything aside. They just are on grass and weeds. I have given it to them in alfalfa pellets. You want to be careful with the pellets. You don't put too much liquid or they'll just kind of disintegrate. So what I do is I'll take just a pan. I'll kind of spread them out. I'll like dribble this all over and then just shake it really well fast so that it doesn't just like make the alfalfa fall apart. The sheep will eat that. They love it. They love the alfalfa. They're not crazy about this. So I will typically put them put this in their water. I feel like maybe they don't get it as much because, the end of the bucket ends up getting dumped or something. But so I try to put it in the food. The cows, I do the alfalfa thing in the pan and just kind of move it around. At first, they kind of sniff it and they're like, what is this? But they eventually eat it. It doesn't take them long and they all get in there and eat it. So that works really well. Like I said, you just want to make sure that you don't make it too concentrated on the alfalfa because moisture makes the alfalfa pellets fall apart. So that's the cows and the sheep. The pigs are super easy because, like I said, we just take the fermented food. I'll put a scoop of the fermented food in the bucket. I'll put however much I'm giving that pig. And like an adult pig, I'll probably give half a cup, maybe a little bit more for a big, fully grown adult pig. Let it soak into the food. If I have like somebody that's not feeling well, or if they're about to have babies, I'll give them a little bit more, or over a few days, I'll do it more than one time. Gives them an extra boost before they have babies and to kind of prepare their body for labor and nursing. We've had really good results with that. And so I just let that soak into the fermented food and then dump that in. The chickens, if you ferment your chicken food, I would do that the same way. I found, because we don't always ferment the chicken food, I want to, but we haven't really gotten into the system for that. We do it for the pigs, but we haven't gotten a good system for fermenting the chicken food yet. And they're really free range, so they get very little food anyways. But what I will do is I will just take this and just kind of pour it in the lip of their water. We have like the big waters with the, the tray at the bottom that it dribbles into. And so to make sure they get it, I'll put some like in the tray. So it's like the first water that they drink. And then if we have bad weather, I'll put like a cup of this, maybe even a little more depending on the size of the water. For the big 5 gallon, I might put as much as 2 cups because they are really good at drinking this. But I'll put it in the water. But if I'm just doing like every couple week normal maintenance, I'll just dribble it in the lip of their water, and that's the first thing they drink, and they take it just fine. So I think that pretty much covers it. If you tuned in late, definitely go back to the beginning and watch it because I went through all of this from the size bottle to the ingredients to the extras that I put in if somebody's sick or if the weather's really bad and I just want to take extra precautions. So go back to the beginning, watch it. Let me know if you have any questions at all. This is the first time I'm using this system in a while where I am using like this streaming. And you know what? I completely forgot. I had a document that I did. Here it is. Okay, so I meant to have that up the whole time I was talking to you, but just to give you a little snapshot of what we did here. Sorry, my dog's barking. So the approximate measurements when mixing in the half-gallon container for use as an immune builder, parasite control method, and overall health in livestock. So about 2 cups of apple cider vinegar, 1 cup of molasses or honey. Yeah, you can do it with honey too. So both have really good health benefits, and you're just really trying to sweeten it to knock off the edge of some of these more potent herbs and oils. A heaping spoon of each of the 4 herb mixes, garlic, and if somebody's sick or battling weird temps or weather conditions, I might add oregano oil. If you don't have the oils, you can use tea, like just make a really concentrated tea, or fresh out of the garden, chop the leaves. Echinacea, lobelia, mullein, or you might have something else you want to add to it based on something going on with, one of your animals. So I don't see any questions coming in. Does anybody have any questions about this? How we do it, what goes in it, any of the ingredients? I'm pretty much finished. So also if you have any questions about anything, anything homestead related. If not, I'm going to wrap up. And on Wednesday, what day are we? We're Monday. So Wednesday night, I think I put, it's either 6:30 or 7. You can check the group page and it's there. It's posted as an event. I'm going to go live and talk just like I did tonight, but about things that I wish I knew before I got a dairy cow. So if anybody is thinking about getting a dairy cow or has a dairy cow, I'm going to be sharing a lot of, I think, valuable information about things that we learned with our first dairy cow, and we are about to get a new dairy cow soon, and so I'm very, very excited about that. But there's a lot of things that you would never know, even if you've been doing livestock for a really long time. There's a lot of things that I think you just don't know because a dairy cow is very, very different. And there are some big things that I wish that I knew going into it. And we learned a lot. So I was going to share those things with you, even if you're not getting a dairy cow. Maybe you know somebody that is, or you're just interested, because it is a completely different ball game. So different from any animal. It's not like having a beef cow. It's not like having a dairy goat. I said to somebody, it was more like having like a Preakness thoroughbred mixed with a Yorkie. Like very high maintenance, but also like your best friend. So it's very cool. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have a dairy cow. And I hope that you can tune in on Wednesday, and I will tell you all about it, good, bad, just knowledge, just information, but a lot of good and a lot of bad that I wish that we had been prepared for. So that's going to be Wednesday night. I can't remember if it was 6:30 or 7 that I posted it for, so check the events tab, and you'll find it there. And definitely like click the button that you're going so that you get notified when it starts. Let's see. So I don't know if anybody, I'm getting like a message on my screen that says can't post comments to Facebook groups. So, okay, so that's the thing. So somebody said, thank you for sharing this information, but because I'm using this program, it's got a thing where like in groups, it won't show you a name for people's privacy unless you go and click. It should be in the description of the video. There's like a thing you can click to say you approve your like name to be shown or something. So if you're going to be joining me for future events, I really like this program because I can kind of like schedule it, and it gives you all the information and a link, like an event. It kind of does that part and makes it more like accessible. And it also allows me to share my screen and share documents. And I have like videos that I'm going to show in future lives. So I really like it, but it does have some quirks, like for privacy reasons, that it doesn't show me. So if somebody is making comments, just saying, good job. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for sharing this information. But all it tells me is Facebook user. So whoever you are, thank you. And if you want me to be able to see who you are, make sure you click in the description. It should be in the description of this video. There should be a link. It's supposed to share that link so that you can click on it and like approve your name to be shown on your comment. So I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I hope that you can watch on Wednesday night. That's going to be a really good one. And I'm very excited to tell you about our future dairy cow. We're still a couple months out because we're waiting for her to be rebred. And she's really special. So she's, well, I'm going to tell you on Wednesday. But we're very excited. It's probably going to be around the end of July when she joins us on the farm, which is good because we have some things to get ready. But anyways, that is about it. Thank you so much for watching. If you missed any of it, the video will show up on the group page and you can go back to the beginning and watch it again. So thank you, and I hope you guys have a great evening. Bye.